What's going on, everybody? This is Jordan with Conquer Trading and Investing. We're getting ready here for our live session here in New York. Markets are moving. We're seeing follow through. It's going to be a good session. Hope everyone is well and doing great. Looking forward to this with you. Looking forward to pouring over the charts, seeing what's going on with the markets, and being able to continue to position ourselves. All right, starting over here with the S&P 500. I've been viewing the S&P on the 8-hour time frame ever since we've bounced off the support over here. Ever since this trade over here, I've been viewing this on the 8-hour, and now you could see we are coming down into some support over here. It's held overnight so far. Still pressure on the indices though. So selling pressure still in effect. We're looking at support here at 30.30. And then we also have a couple of support levels below to keep watching. As soon as the 8-hour makes a higher high, that's the place that you want to either be exiting any short positions or looking now as we come and swing into this area to build up and accumulate a long position. NASDAQ selling off as well, but only down again 0.1%. I kind of like the idea. Kind of like the idea of perhaps leaning into buy into the NASDAQ 100, and when selling, ideally the Russell. I don't trade the Russell, but either the Dow or the S&P on the way down. But you could see here that tech on this day where we're seeing losses across the board, a little bit deeper on the Dow, and on the S&P 500 is, well, it's almost unchanged. You got the Dow leading to the downside, down 0.8%. If you look here on the 3-day time frame, you could see that we are just though coming into an area of supply all the way down over here. So this is where the risk to reward begins actually working in favor of upsides of buy side trades, right? Although right now you should be short. But you should want to begin looking at possibly building in any buy side trades. If you're looking here on the 1-hour, you can see we're still in this downward impulse over here, right? And, if we break below this 30 support over here, we should see further downside. There's no question about it, because if we have over here a couple of different areas, we have, if this support breaks, then this trend line, the 29.72, all the way down to the 29.47. This whole area over here is an area of accumulation and looking to buy. Dollar having another pretty good day over here. Dollar so far this morning being rejected, or yeah, well, being rejected at 97.60 resistance we have over here. Now, if it is able to clear the high from a few days ago, then we will probably get that burst to the 98.30 level we were looking for. However, if this is rejected over here, if this is rejected and price starts making lower lows, right, it's time again to look for some dollar weakness. This is a downtrend. You're coming into resistance. So we're seeing both markets, right? We're seeing the equity markets coming towards a place of support, and we're seeing the DXY also coming to a place of resistance. Right now, the correlation between the dollar and risk assets is pretty strong. It's pretty strong, except for gold, which gold and silver. Start with silver. We talked about that this was the place yesterday to look to pick up silver. Here is a beautiful entry. Price so far rising up. And gold over here is on a day that the dollar is strong. Imagine that gold is stronger. Gold priced in dollars is stronger, while the dollar is pretty much stronger than everything else. We've seen that before. We've seen that peak crisis happen often. Here we got that happen again. Dollar also now so far looking to resume up here to challenge the highs over here. It needs to break out over here. It needs to break out and have a clean breakout. Otherwise, if that's not happening, I think then we're going to run into another consolidation area, and maybe that is somewhere in this area over here. Watch out for that though. Silver was the play, both looking to accumulate as Bitcoin was trading down earlier today, but the 9100 support level continues to hold as it's been holding ever since the end of May. So all through June, this is holding. That's and remains a pretty bullish signal. Again, I'm looking for a deeper pullback where I have waiting orders to accumulate at 85 and 82, but we don't seem to be breaking 91. A resumption off of this is absolutely a place to look in to buy. You see, you already had a peak up over here, and that price is coming back down, right? So even still, you could put in the low, right, and the high, and keep accumulating any other upward impulse over here. If we go below her, do expect 85. If 91 doesn't hold, do expect at least 85. On the 1 hour, you're also looking at a very bearish impulse happening on Bitcoin. So you should definitely, it depends if you're looking what time frame you're trading on. It really does, right? Bitcoin three day is definitely accumulation phase. Definitely accumulation, especially now with the entry CCI pulled back, showing that price is now near term oversold in this uptrend over here. As you're watching the consolidation, it is coming to the apex over here soon. Soon we're going to have the breakout. I think it's to the upside. I think we break out. I think we break above 10,400 within the next few weeks and go on to $12,000 in a pretty strong, rapidly unfolding move. What else are we looking at over here today? Just to check in, WTI is feeling the pressure. By the way, this is kind of a big deal. It's on the calendar. We're looking at a light calendar the rest of the week, except for the markets are probably now looking forward towards next Thursday. Saturday in the United States is July 4th. It looks like the markets are closed on the 3rd. So these U.S. markets. But you're looking here on Thursday instead of the first Friday of the month. We're looking at non-farm employment change. That's something the market is going to start focusing in on between now and next Thursday. All right. So aside from that, we do have Fed Chair Powell testifying on Tuesday, and then the meeting minutes on Wednesday. So that's what's going on there. Something has changed though. Oil made me think of it. What has changed is that we're seeing New York and New Jersey, which prior were leading the United States. They were the hot zones for the virus. And now they're actually, when people from different states come into their state, they're going to need to self-quarantine for 2 weeks. So that's that's an escalation in the whole coronavirus situation, for sure. So be aware, if we do, this isn't the second wave. If we go back in the first wave to further lockdowns across the country, that would be interesting development. That's something that I have not really accounted for. So watching the situation, you see oil under pressure a little bit. I continue to wait with patience, just looking around. I think I'm waiting for that 45 level. I think I'm waiting for that 45 level. Now it's $35 where the U.S. shale oil industry needs to be in order to be profitable. They need at least $35. So they've had a bit of a reprieve over here, but I think we are headed towards further global slowdown. I don't think we're going to see an acceleration in growth. Maybe I'm wrong. We'll find out, but I do think we're going to run into further problems, specifically, with the virus itself. We have, what else do we have over here? Let me just check back because we have 20 minutes now to the U.S. markets open, continuing their overnight losses. DXY is firming up a little bit. Let me come down to the 1 hour just to, okay. Here's a really nice look at that resistance that it was rejected at earlier this morning. We'll see what it could do. Neil, yeah, overnight I was short, Neil. But by the way, I didn't even know I let you know that. Over the night I was short on the Nasdaq and on Bitcoin, and I showed the downward impulse on both of them, and yeah, that was great. But that's because I was testing something, by the way. But what I would yeah, I do think, as I mentioned earlier, that being short on the S&P and going long on Nasdaq impulses is probably the way to go. It's probably definitely the way to go, and probably similar with, well, no, silver really, when it does come off, comes off hard. But I wonder if it should be the same on silver and gold. I'm not really sure. That could be where you take the long impulses on silver and only the short ones on gold. Could be interesting, but silver seems to be very volatile on the downside too. So I'm not really sure about that, as with what I'm leaning towards on the Nasdaq and the S&P 500. Bitcoin too. Bitcoin is under pressure over here. If you look on the 3-day time frame, it looks definitely very good over here as it continues to consolidate and what I believe to be the next leg up. So this is all great and good. But if you come down all the way to the 1 hour time frame over here, as you come into this area of 91 support, if that doesn't hold, if 91 doesn't hold, I think we're going down to 85, right? And right now we are showing, the 1 hour time frame, a downward impulse. You could see over here, if it gets above this area right around 93.43, well, then it looks like it's probably failed, and the support of 91 is holding again. We'll be headed back up, but also you'll see the impulse will then be to the upside. So that's what I was going on over there. Yet, I mean, Miguel, not really focused so much personally on the data. Again, until next Thursday, we have non-farm payrolls. That's the thing to watch. I want to check out some FX crosses, starting with the euro US dollar, which remains under some pressure here as the dollar is firming. So this is interesting. If you check out this trend line over here, this is where we've kind of ran into a little bit of support earlier today. But if we break this low of this descending wedge over here, if we break the low, right, at that point you have to consider that to be a failed breakout. It's already looking like that's where it's headed after the rejection of the trend line resistance. This is the trend line that is going back, quite a while. It's been in play for quite a long time over here, about 5 years or so, and that came into play again just yesterday. If we break above this, that should really open up a big leg and move to the upside. There's no question about it. But right now it seems to be holding. If we break below the low of that descending wedge, then we're going to see, I think, either 1.11 or 1.1, the next two big supports on the downside. So the dollar If that happens, if we're seeing a bigger move here on the dollar, then I do think we see further downside here on the equity markets and taking us down maybe as far down as the 29.47 support level. Either which way, this is all accumulation. This is all accumulation. I believe. Again, things are fluid, and when I say things are fluid, if we see that there's never a second wave, that the first wave gets worse, because we have not gotten over the first wave of the virus. The world has not seen a decline in cases at any point. We're still in the first wave. It's going on longer than people expected, and it is not going away. And if it continues in this route, and we see lockdowns before the second wave, well, then that changes everything. That changes everything. South Africa, is there a platform for subscribers to ask questions? I'm new to trading and I want to learn before I'm trading. Well, you just did that. You just asked a question, but yes, we do have a private training group where we had our first live training session on Tuesday. It was an enormous session. Really enjoyed that a lot. There's a link below if you're interested in something like that, and that's working directly with me through the strategy. That was not really my intent to mention or talk about that. I just saw that comment. And the reason I say that is because, well, I want to dial in and focus here this morning on what's going on with the markets. I like the follow through that we saw last night into today. I like the whole feel. We got ranges opening up a little bit, getting out of that consolidation period that we were in. So looking forward here. I like the flow of the markets here. So let's focus in on that. So euro, that was a good look at the euro. Let's check out the Australian dollar, US dollar, and this you could see over here. This is quite interesting. Ooh, this is really interesting because this is now not becoming a dollar story. This is Australian dollar risk, pricing in risk coming back over here, the support holding over here. Australian dollar looking to lead the way. That looks like looks like a good place to take a long over here because again, you're looking at a really good risk reward from the beginning of the trade going in just to the first area of resistance. So that's a good trade. That's a trade that might be hard for a lot of traders to step into, and that's because it's a little bit counter trend to the sentiment of today. The sentiment that we're seeing today is a little bit more of that risk off tone, right? Markets are down overnight. We're seeing dollar bid. We're seeing gold bid with dollar, right? Bitcoin off though. Bitcoin off. So you're not seeing risk there. So it's a mixed market. That's when you want to really stick into the technicals. You could see over here, you could see the series of lower highs being put in. You're coming in, putting in one right now. That's the entry. You know where you're wrong. Coming in just over here to where we had the two highs a few days ago, you could see that going into there is a really good risk to reward if this trade is able then to push past the first resistance, right, up into here. That becomes an excellent trade and probably a trade that could help towards making the month. Australian dollar, Canadian dollar, it's a tough one, and I don't like the sideways action, which is why I've avoided this in the past. I've avoided that in the past because of the sideways price action. I don't like to trade sideways markets or get caught up in them. And even though this right here, as you pulled the resistance here is where like everyone's having a problem taking it above. And once that pressure is released, that could be a big move here, right? I mean, I'm more bullish on the Australia than I am on Canada. Now that we've had this pullback over here, this could be the entry. This is a good looking entry over here, a 1-to-1 coming into that resistance over there. That's pretty good. As soon as if that breaks above, you could really start managing that position. The thing is for me, and what makes it hard, because you want to be to something, the longer something consolidates, the bigger the move coming. That's good looking, but how do you know when it's the end? Is this the end over here? I don't know. I avoid it. I see the second wave making headlines. I have this over here. It says futures accelerate on second wave fears, but we haven't really got past the first one. We've never, this isn't the second wave. The second wave won't come until the fall. This is the first wave. Mauricio. Thanks, Mauricio. Appreciate that. Here we go. Australian dollar, Swiss franc. I'm really kind of just skipping over it because I'm not focused in or dialing in on the Swiss franc, as you all know. But this looks good over here. Again, consolidating. It has that same flow as the Australian dollar, US dollar with the lower highs over here. You could see what's building up. This is the area to lean on. This is the area to lean into right now. So what about the Australian dollar? Same exact pattern here happening across all Australian dollar pairs. It is what it is, but you could see here, which is nice. This is looking at the Australian dollar, Japanese yen. We continue to be in this area that we're looking for further consolidation. So that would make sense also going into, there's news as far as the developments of the coronavirus cases. And if they continue to rise and it continues to be a concern, of course. But as far as data the market's going to focus in on, I think it's next Thursday, non-farm payroll. That is the big one. So let's just be mindful of what's happening. This is kind of a safe space to be within, because if you break out of it, then you know that, well, volatility is picking up ahead of time. So be diligent, be focused. Don't fall behind on a specific, don't fall behind on the flow of the market. Let me get that out of there. Australian dollar, New Zealand dollar, same thing. I mean, I could see what's happening. I could see the consolidation, but it's not a pair that I'm wanting to trade. What would happen if the resolution from this was to the downside? What happens if you broke here to the downside? That could be a pretty big move, actually, but that's not where the treasure is. That's not where the treasure is. I do like the Australian dollar, Japanese yen, and I like the structure that it's putting in over here. This becomes very easy to trade. Whether you're going long right here, right now, which looks like a good entry, right? Up into here, and as long as we're in here, it's pretty controlled on what's happening. A break to the upside or downside, that could bring a big move, the next big move on the Australian dollar, US dollar. If you break outside of here to the downside, though, you still have this horizontal support you have over at 72.66. You got to look to be buying into that as well. So it's a tricky market. It's a tricky market, but it's kind of clear right now. Like, I feel like the set of waves is pretty. Sometimes when you're surfing, right, you got waves that are very like jumpy and sketchy, and these seem to be very fluid right now. These seem to be very fluid. I like it when the market's like this. Euro, Australian dollar rejected again. Rejected again here for the short. Again, I know a lot of traders have been focused on this one. The last time we came into the trend line was over here. People took this leg down. You could see it happening again right now. Adversely, oh, sorry about that. I didn't clear that comment, but that was a good one to get caught up there. Sorry for leaving the comment up there too long. So if we do break out to the upside, though, a trend line break like this could actually lead to a nice move. So you're here right now at a juncture where you should be short, but you could continue watching this. And if it does break out this, break out from this trend line at some point coming up, that could be a place to look for a big breakout on the Australian dollar, on the euro versus the Australian dollar. And do note, even though that there's weakness right now going on the euro US dollar, it's being rejected so far over here. If it breaks out there, you could see a big move happen on the euro. So that could play out on the euro Australian dollar. But right now you should be short. You should be short on the euro Australian dollar coming off the resistance. Now you're right into this area of support right over here. So watch the trade. What else is there? Euro, Canadian dollar, sideways. Very sideways over there. Euro, Swiss franc, trying to get a read of what's happening over here. I mean, you could see the possibility across the board. The euro it's getting set where you could see a prolonged big move on the euro. Look over here also. If this breaks to the upside, if it breaks to the upside, we could see a big move also on the euro. Swiss franc, as it is forming over here, what looks like a descending wedge over here. So that being said, we still could see a much further pullback into this area of support, right? Across all right now, you should be short on the euro Australian dollar, short on the euro Swiss franc, short on the euro US dollar. No question about all of that. But at the same time, you could kind of see, well, maybe the euro is actually getting ready here for a big move. So while you want to be where the current impulse is, just also be aware of the bigger picture. What about the euro Japanese yen? I mean, very close correlation between all pairs when you're looking at euro US dollar, euro Japanese yen, and euro Swiss franc. Yeah, so this is something we were looking at yesterday and in the chat room. And then you can see here that this over here was a nice entry, right? That's a good trade to see. The thing about, let's talk about this for one quick second over here. This is just like, and all those that are in the trading course, you know that you now know what a clean entry looks like, and you're able to get yourself into a lot of trades that now do go into profit. And that's a good position to be in. So you're like, well, do I take the profit? Like if you got into this trade over here and all of a sudden you're into nice profit, well, maybe that's as far as it goes. Maybe it's getting hauled up into this local area of support. And, I don't want this trade to turn into a loss, so I need to take profit, right? Well, that's going to get you like to break even trading. But if you're taking the same take profits as your stop loss, that means you have like a 1-to-1 risk reward ratio. That means that you probably do have a 50% win rate, right? So that just puts you at break even. That's no good. As you get into a trade like this over here, what you're looking for is further extension down. Now, as you came into this area of support, is that where you consider moving your stop loss to break even? You could, or better, you could just start going ahead and following the 8-hour bars down and moving your stop loss down with it, and then say, all right, well, if this does reverse up and start making higher highs, well, then I want to be on the sidelines then. That trade didn't follow through. I'm willing to, either take a small gain, a small loss, or even a break even right here. But if I get this trade to push through, right, and then we come down and we're testing the lows over here, at that point, you're now looking at a good trade, a trade that's going to take you from not just break even, but this is going to get you to start becoming consistently profitable. Yeah. We looked at the S&P 500 to start this thing off, as we do every time. So at any point in time, if you want to see what's going on with perhaps the S&P, you could just go ahead, and what you need to do is just pull back the red YouTube thing and get to the beginning of the stream, and then you'll get caught up on that pretty quickly. We have 178 likes, but this is probably one of my favorite sessions in weeks. I guess you guys aren't feeling it the same as me, but that's okay. Maybe there's certain days that you guys are learning more than me, but I'm absolutely loving the stream. And if you are enjoying it, please go ahead and do support the channel. Smash the like button. Show a little bit of love. And I do appreciate that. Either which way, I'm glad to be here with you. So that's why I'm here. Pound Australian dollar also right over here has just given a nice entry signal. Boom. I like seeing the explosion of the thumbs up. I like seeing that a lot. As you come in over here, you can see now this is also a nice entry signal on the pound Australian dollar. You're seeing the Australian dollar pretty firm across everything. Are we coming into, I don't know. I have no idea what's going to happen with the markets, and I'm quite ambivalent about it. Again, we have our game plan. You should be watching this now on the 8-hour time frame for the foreseeable future until, if things get out of hand again. If things get out of hand again, we'll start going back down. We were down sometimes on the 5-minute time frame in the S&P 500. I took a few trades off the 5-minute time frame, right? Most off the 30-minute, but now I think you should be focused on the 8-hour time frame. Nick C, appreciate that. Like it. Thank you so much. Let's take a look at some other pound pairs. Pound Canadian dollar. We're seeing the same thing you're seeing with the pound Australian dollar. You're seeing here with the pound Canadian dollar. You can see it where my mouse is the resistance. I'm not going to draw it in. I'm not really concerned with this pair. Or, if I wanted to trade that, I'd be trading the pound Australian dollar. So pound Swiss franc coming into an area of support over here. Coming into an area of support, and you could see the pound looking to resume off this support. So this becomes a question of discerning, which trade are you going to take? And, even though this is a setup, then you have to figure out of all the setups that are coming in, which ones you're taking. It's not a question of being able to take an entry in the markets or spot a setup. That's easy. You could train a computer to do that. What you need to do is discern which is the best setup that you want to be involved in. Pound Japanese yen also looks like it's finding an area of support over here and now looking to resume up as well. So, it makes sense to me. But I just see the markets in a little bit of a normal flow consolidation. I'm not seeing a big prolonged move. You want to take everything very technical right now. Very technical. You could see over here the clear rejection and then price traded up. You're right. So here's a great example everyone should focus in on. And if you do like this example after you've seen it, go ahead and smash that like button. But here's a problem a lot of traders have. They see over here the signal. This is a signal right here that they take, right? And then when I get into a trade, I have my stop loss in, right? And I don't touch. I assume as I take the trade, let's say my stop loss was right here. Let's say my stop loss was right up there. Now, when I place that trade, I say, all right, I'm getting, I bet you I get a stopped out, so I don't really care about it, right? So I'm not going to touch anything until I get stopped out of the trade. A lot of traders over here, as price starts going against them, it's about halfway to their stop loss, less than halfway. Price making higher high, they'll get out of that trade. Right? Because they're micromanaging the trade. They're probably watching it on the 30-minute time frame or the 1 hour or the 4 hour, but they're really watching and they're watching every tick instead of entering the trade, keeping where your stop loss is, moving away from it. Don't look at it, right? They're getting out of trades that they have no business getting out of, and you can see here now the follow through back towards where it should be. Now, as you get back into an area over here, about a 1-to-1 risk reward away, right? But in the next area of perhaps what could be a little bit of supply, all right, then you could start looking to move your stop loss down, right? Maybe you want to put it now above this bar over here. Maybe you want to put it at break even, or maybe you want to wait for the next 8-hour bar to make a higher high. And then that's where you want to go ahead and look to exit the position while the whole time looking for the further extension downwards. So I hope that is helpful to you, because a lot of traders get into a trade with the correct analysis. They know exactly what they should be doing and looking for, and they get into the right trade, and they just exit it before they had a reason to exit the trade. Pound US dollar. No, Jackie, the top of the previous bar is not resistance at all. If I scroll back over here, you could see these red lines over here. These are resistance, right? This is over here, resistance, support, right over there highlighted, support, resistance. That's an area of resistance. The last 8-hour bar, the higher the low, is just momentum. That's which way the price is moving. Is it moving up or is it moving down? Sam, better than a like, man. Appreciate that. Yeah, I'm not looking to short WTI right now. Waiting, maybe if we get towards 45, it would become perhaps interesting to maybe build a short position into, but I don't know if it's the most interesting thing. That will depend on what kind of, what if we see further lockdowns and growth, we could see shocks. I don't think it's the most interesting thing right now, though. All right, so boom, boom, boom. That's what it's all about, Richard. That's what it's all about, trading. Finding an entry is easy, right? Selecting the right pair and then managing the trade is where the learning is, and that's where the difference is. Also, that's the difference between someone who's struggling to someone who's like kind of getting it to someone who's making money in the markets, right? Yeah, we've again also, by the way, we take a look at gold, we take a look at Bitcoin, we take a look at the dollar, all of that at the beginning of the live stream sessions, and you're going to get the best flow and the best look. So just go ahead and move back the red streamer at the bottom, go to the beginning of the session, find out where we're talking about gold. If you want to see what's going on with the dollar, check out the section where we talk about the dollar in the very beginning, as well as Bitcoin, and also over here, the U.S. equity markets. That's the best way to do it. So that's where I'm going to point you. We continue to look at some pairs. Let's look at the U.S. dollar, Mexican peso having some nice follow through as well. This is, everyone knows, this is where people were looking to enter down over here, right? Also over here, right? Also over here, right? And what's going on? Does this have a little bit more in it? That's dependent on what happens with the markets. The correlation is tight. You're at a little bit of support over here. However, between now and next Thursday, if we were to trade down further, would even into this trend line, would anyone or slightly wick below it as we have in the past, would anyone be surprised? I certainly wouldn't. What kind of top side targets might I be looking at the US dollar, Mexican peso? I think it's towards this resistance over here, somewhere in this between 23 and 23.25 area is where might consider 23.10, might consider exiting a US dollar, Mexican peso trade over here. Listen, I do have a bias, and my bias is that we don't have a big extension over here. I don't think that we're going to see prolonged dollar strength, even though we're seeing a nice move here. We could even pierce in over here, as high as 98.85. But I think the markets are going to be able to catch a footing somewhere over here. I don't think we're going into full blown meltdown right now. That's what I see. And so if you're looking at what's going on with gold, gold has not been bid with a weaker dollar as you would expect it would be. Right here, you're looking at a stronger dollar today. You're looking at pretty strong gold. Gold will continue, I believe, to perform as it has been, and should only even improve with the further expansion. We were looking in last night's video that right now we're about $6.1 trillion Fed's balance sheet. We should be going to 10 trillion by the end of the year. That's insane to think about. I don't know that that's true or that's going to happen, but no one would be surprised if that were to happen. If you think about that, that's pretty crazy. That's pretty crazy. Gold is buy off of supports. We're already in quite a bull run over here on gold ever since back over here in June of 2019 for the last year. But it's just getting started. It's just getting started. And same thing with Bitcoin, trading the corn. Same thing with Bitcoin. This thing is just getting started, right? If you are lucky enough to get any pullback over here, I don't think we're going to have a 30% drawdown from the high over here, right? I don't think we're looking at $7,000. Is it possible? Listen, anytime you get into a Bitcoin trade, do understand that you are looking at potentially a 30% drawdown, right down there to 7,000. That's in play always and all the time. And that's common also in the bull market. We haven't yet entered the bull market, right? Where we soon will be. But just expect that you can have a 30% drawdown at any time. But really, you should be in the mindset that Bitcoin's not going back down to 4,000, but that you want to look to go ahead and buy during those pullbacks. Stop when Bitcoin breaks 10,400. That's when you're looking to buy. Stop buying after prices moving up. Look to buy as it's coming back down. And you can see right over here, right now, it is, it's pulled back 12% from the high into a nice area of support. If you don't own Bitcoin, 9,100 is a good level. What about 85? That's the level I'm looking at after. That's almost an 18% drawdown, right? Well, that is an 18% drawdown, 18.5% drawdown. great place to buy. 8,200, 20% drawdown. Again, these are all good levels. So what's going to happen if we hit 7,000? Everyone in here is going to be buying. I know I am. But I don't think that's going to happen. I don't think we're in for a 30% drawdown right now. We had a 20% drawdown right over here on Bitcoin. We had a 20% drawdown after the halving. That was coming off an annihilation. An annihilation, I like that word. That was coming off being annihilated here during the crisis. Since then, we've had a 20% pullback. Guys, I remember buying that dip. I don't think we have another one until we break out. If we do, no. It's so much better having a clear plan of action ahead of time. That way, as things unfold, you're prepared for them. You don't know what's going to unfold. You want to be prepared for everything that could possibly unfold. I'm glad that I'm glad you got that, Could I explain Bitcoin on why I like Bitcoin? I mean, is there any interest for anyone to know why I like Bitcoin? I'm not sure if that's a thing people are looking for. Yeah, Juan. Trading conform. Nice. Yeah, there's also that's more. Yeah, this video's on the channel, West, right on the playlist. I agree. There's videos on why I like Bitcoin on the channel. We talk about it from time to time. Yeah, GP. I mean, that's what it is from the get go, though, right? From the beginning of the channel, Bitcoin has been spelled out. This is the opportunity where we're getting ready. Right here, we're getting ready to enter a big bull market. People have the opportunity to really, better their financial position if they're, a lot. I know a lot of you all prepared. and already positioned. So that's awesome. Yeah, I do too. I'm an advocate too that I believe that will happen also, right? But I say that all the time. But trade Bitcoin on 2 times, 3 times, leverage. I feel safer than trading Ethereum at any point. Jordan, we got a Bitcoin playlist on the channel. Just go to the channel playlist, and you'll definitely take a look at it. It's a good one. Good session today. What else does anyone want to look at? Let's take a look around the markets. Let me know. We didn't take a look at the US dollar, Japanese yen, by the way. Let's see over here. Let's come up and look at this on the 3-day time frame, first of all. I don't really see anything that's like exciting happening over here. So I'm just going to stay away from it. There's so much happening right now in the markets. There's seemingly so much good stuff going on that, you got to go where the exciting stuff is. Australian dollar. We took a good look at the Australian dollar, Canadian dollar. We definitely did over here, consolidating over here, pushing on that resistance at 0.9412. Coming up now, trying to go ahead and start making higher highs. Let's see if there's any extension. Nice. Look at that. And the dollar's extending. Nope, not yet. The dollar is not making new highs over here. Oh, it's coming back up. It's looking to make new highs. So everything seems kind of under control. Everything seems very fluid. Everything seems very, very smooth. There is, yeah, Miguel, that's what I'm saying. This is the fun time to be out there. Sometimes, like anything else, there's the work that you got to put in, and it's not always easy, but you always got to get up and do it if you want to perform on an elite level. That's the only way to do it. But other times you're out there and you're just The markets are a passion. I absolutely love the markets. Every day I love putting the pieces of the puzzle together. I love considering all of the macro, and I love trading off the charts, and that I'm a technician. I love the fact that, of course, I love the markets and want to be aware of the markets. And when you can line up the technicals and the fundamentals as happening right now on Bitcoin itself, that's when the magic really happens. But today, as a technical trader, today's a great day. Today's a great day. Best platform to buy Bitcoin with, I recommend for sure BlockFi. I made a purchase with them yesterday or the day before yesterday. In the description below is a link to how to buy, trade, and store Bitcoin, and the BlockFi referral links over there. Listen, I'm not referring them because of the referral. It's like $10 or something. But the thing is that I do find them the easiest to use right now. I find it the best platform. You got to be safe if you keep any Bitcoin with a third party. You got to use proper security. They email you and tell you what is recommended, including whitelisting and address. But it's so easy to buy. Now, this is not for dollar cost averaging small amounts of Bitcoin. That's not, oh, someone recommended the Gemini platform, right? And just going ahead and placing buy limit orders. If you're looking to buy $100 worth of Bitcoin. But if you're looking to buy $1,000 or more of Bitcoin, then you want to go with BlockFi. In my opinion, it's the same day wire transfer, and the funds post an hour or two later. It's all so quick, and for that, for those reasons, quick and easy. That's what I'm a fan of. No, I don't think no one cares about when it. I don't know. Warren's playing the long game right now. Warren's playing the long game right now. And, you got to have respect for his career. And he's managing a different amount of money. We got 430 likes today. I thought that we might be able to hit the 500 mark. I thought it was a really, really good session. But I also feel like I got a great look across the board at everything that's happening in the markets, right? There wasn't anything that we didn't get a good look at and understand what's going on. And I think we're all really well prepared. That's awesome. That means for me that I'm going to have breakfast with the kids. Now, if you do look at the S&P over here, right? There's nothing like, you should be involved in this with the greatest ease, right? You're in control. You know what's happening. You know what you're looking for next. You know what you're in right now. You know what's happening, and you know what you're looking for next. It's that simple, and it's that easy, and it feels good to be in control. There's a question of, it doesn't always need to, again, a lot of traders need to really get in the habit of being able to, more often than not, you're trading near break even. You have a couple of trades that are moving multiple levels and where you're making money, right? That's how you do it. So it's nice to get the follow through that we saw again overnight, but you just want to be prepared. That's it. Absolutely. You guys got it. Everyone, have a beautiful day. Have a beautiful day. Looking forward to putting together a nice video for this afternoon. I hope you guys are enjoying those videos. I'm really committed to providing them, putting them out. So again, anytime you're able to hit that like button or even comment on it, that help supports those videos, gets further reach on them. We'll keep them coming. Everyone, I'll see you all tomorrow. I'll speak to you all later, and I'll see you all tomorrow. Have a wonderful day, everyone, and I'll talk to you later.